Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's Energies of the Week from today, the 3rd of August, until Sunday, the 9th of August. Let's think about that then. How are you? Yes, we're actually in August. Unbelievable. So this week, I don't know about you guys, it's been pretty intense, hasn't it? And I've been saying for a while now, I've been feeling tired, sort of beyond the normal fatigue. And that's down to, I think anyway, a lot of the energies that have been around and the, you know, the healing work that's been necessary to get through all of that. We've really been shown what we need to clear, what's no longer, serving us. But also for me, over the last few months, certainly it's been about old patterns and behaviors and issues coming back up that I thought I dealt with that, obviously hadn't, not to the extent they needed to be dealt with. So it's been a tough one. We are now coming up to eclipse season. Well, we're in eclipse season, but we have our first new moon total solar eclipse, which is on the 12th of August. So we're really in the lead up to that. And then we have a full moon eclipse at the end of the month. So, as you know, eclipses really shake things up, and they try to be helpful in that they remove what's no longer working for us in our lives, or at least make it so uncomfortable that we see it and we have to do something about it. So it's good if you can be as clear as possible about what you want to bring in to your life and what you want to get rid of in your life before, well, now really, before the actual eclipses. And of course, we're in the Lionsgate Portal as well, and that peaks on the 8th, which is Saturday. So there's a lot going on, and it's all positive. It's really intense. I think that's the best word for it. So, from what I understand from the astrology, Chiron has gone retrograde in Taurus today. This is all about going within, doing the deep dive work that we need to do, healing our worth wounds, apparently, our self-worth. How do we feel about ourselves? And not looking externally for validation. It's all about slowing down this week as well, okay, according to the astrology. And on Thursday, the last quarter moon is in Taurus, so that's about releasing and letting go. Maybe looking at where you are staying still in your life, where you're not pushing yourself, or where you're too frightened to move forward. But at the same time, on Thursday, Venus is coming into Libra, so that requires kind of balance. But does that mean that you've been avoiding conflict as well? I mean, nobody likes conflict, but sometimes we can keep quiet to our own detriment, can't we? So that's what that's going to highlight. It might also show you where your relationships are out of balance. And it's also asking you to let go of anything that's disturbing your equilibrium and your balance and your peace. And then apparently on Friday, the sun is squaring Saturn. Again, this could actually have you questioning your self-worth or questioning your worth. Am I any good at this? Why am I doing this? All that sort of thing. But it's really more, it's not intended for you to agree with that. It's not intended for you to go, oh yeah, actually I'm no good, so I'll just give up. It's more about, why am I thinking like this? It's definitely an ego thing. Yeah. So just be aware of that if that comes up, and really try to dissolve that with some inner work. Then, of course, on Saturday, we have the peak of the Lionsgate Portal, when the spiritual sun, Sirius, more connected with the earth. It's going to illuminate your soul's magic, get you more in touch with what your soul wants you to do. And of course, I'm running an event that that day. And I'd love it if you could join me. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. So there's quite a lot going on. And I believe like the Lionsgate Portal is here to help us build our next kind of timeline, our next adventure in life, if you like. And it's got a lot of divine feminine energy coming through it as well. And then on Sunday, Mercury goes into Leo. This wants us to be bold, brave, and courageous. So do you get the point? So for example, today, I'll just share this with you. I didn't feel great this morning. I felt kind of a little bit run down. I've been feeling run down for a while, but I think it's the tiredness. I just couldn't get myself ready to go. I didn't feel well enough for a networking event that I normally go to and things like that. So what I did, rather than beating myself up and telling myself, just push yourself a bit harder, I decided to stop. And I decided to spend the morning in reflection, journaling, meditation, had a cup of cacao, and it was wonderful. And I got so much peace from that. And I really found myself coming back into myself, because it's so easy, isn't it? Letting our energy be scattered. And sleep hasn't been great for many people lately because of the heat and everything. So I think a lot of us are tired. So I think it's really important to look after ourselves. And of course, when we're tired, we can doubt everything, can't we? We can question everything. So my invitation for you this week is to really look after yourself, to really go within, to really work out what you want to keep in your life and what you want to move on from. And that can be anything. It can be from your daily habits, to big questions about relationships or your home environment, or it could be work or business, anything like that. And if the whole self-worth question comes up, just remember how amazing you are, just as you are. You're living this human existence, which is not easy, and you're doing your best. And a lot of you watching this are empaths, sensitive. You pick up on lots of other people's energy. You give far more than you receive. So it's time now, really, isn't it, to look after yourself so that you're ready for the next jump in the evolutionary timeline or the ascension timeline. We can't do it if we're running on empty. And I think that's part of the problem, because we can receive all this light, of course, but we need to be ready, and we need to be able to accept it, ready to accept it, don't we? So that's one of the reasons I created the Lionsgate event on Saturday, so that you can receive, so that you can take some time out to get really clear on what you want, so you can receive some messages, so that you can receive all this beautiful golden light from the Sirius sun, right? It's online, it's 7 to 8:30 p.m. It's only £33. If you can't make it live, you will get the recording and it will still be as effective. So I really hope you can join me. This week I didn't draw cards from the tarot. I drew cards from my own deck, the Empowered Woman Rises, just to see what would come up for this week for us all. And I got self first, of course, because that's, of course, I'm talking about going within and checking in with ourselves and self-worth. But this is also, we can feel better about ourselves and more worthy when we treat ourselves, when we look after ourselves. This is really about putting yourself first this week, putting your needs first this week. Like, I love going to that networking meeting, but I knew it wouldn't help me today because I wasn't in the right place. So it's things like that, and then to back that up, we have the boundaries card as well. Okay, so maybe this week is really looking at where you need to strengthen your boundaries as well, in all aspects of your life, or maybe in just a few. we don't need, we hear about everything that's going on. I'm telling you about what's going on, and it seems big, and it is, but we don't have to do everything at once. Okay, and we don't have to make massive changes. But as long as we're intentional with our changes and consciously creating them and consciously coming from the soul, then you're on the right track. All right. So I'm hoping that this video has been helpful. Let me know in the comments. And as I said, I'd love to see you there on Saturday. I'll put the link above this video for you to sign up. And we can spend some time together in a state of receiving all sorts of things and letting go of what it is you've decided to let go of. Hopefully that's other people's opinions and judgments as one of them. Okay, so do take care of yourselves, and I will be back next week, but I hope to see some of you on Saturday. Bye for now.